Hey, what's up? Look, life can do a great deal of putting you in your place, humbling you, you know what I'm saying? Teaching you valuable lessons. Or so I'd like to believe. But what I found is that a lot of people, they don't learn anything. They don't learn from being being beaten down. They don't learn much from the downtrodden. Of course, some of us will. You know, we're stubborn, we're hard headed. And instead of actually fixing the problem, we take it upon ourselves to just inflict, probably most of the time, worse damage to others. You know, we want to clean up our act also, you know, as far as image goes, as far as how he looks, but never really digging under the hood, seeing what's really going on. But anyway, I say all this to say this is my humble report is that in order to be humble, you really have to come from an honest place. And one thing that's very honest is suffering. And if flat out, if I had to ask you the question, do you want other people to suffer? Do you want other people to feel as bad as you? Most of you, if you're not sick in the fucking head, would say, of course I don't want people to suffer as much as me. Why would I do that? But our actions say otherwise. Our actions are the ones, quite frankly, doing the loudest speaking. And what our actions say is we aren't quite as humble as we should be considering the circumstances. So we are liable to find ourselves in circumstances that are going to keep humbling us, and not in the good way, not in the way where you just feel like you have so much abundance, like it's just overwhelming. You don't know what to do with it. It's just like you don't know what to do. You're lost. You're swimming in your own filth. I was thinking about something earlier. Because I know a person who's down on his luck, was pretty much evil to me most of my life, abusive, all of these things. And I saw him today. I was in my car, and he's in his 50s. He doesn't have a car, and I know that's not necessarily the source of his pain, but I still see the pain that's in him. And for some reason, because I had seen him as an enemy for pretty much a great deal of my life, also, but for some reason, something came to my head that just said like, don't mock this man, don't look down on him, don't ha 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 him. You know what I'm saying? Because in the statement that manifested in my mind as I was having this conversation was simply, don't mock others, for your situation may soon mirror theirs. It's very interesting, very amazing to see how quick your fate can change. From bad to good, and of course from good to bad. So I think it's just best to not mock people where they are in their lives, because they're just dealing with so much. Even if you find them to be repulsive, animals, all types of things. Of course, the promotion of I understand wanting to see people fall when they have done wrong by others. I get that too. I believe in death penalties, and I mean even things more extreme than that when people deserve it. But for the most part, people don't deserve things like that. They actually deserve to feel like they're a part of something, like they can really heal from whatever's hurting them, whatever's harming them. You know what I'm saying? So the humble, I was about to say the humble report, but if I had to, well, actually, let's roll with it. If I had to read the humble report, somewhere in there, one of the requirements of actually being a humble person is to come with a great deal of empathy, because if you live long enough and you didn't have everything handed to you, you know pain, you know suffering. And if you don't, you soon will. You start to lose everybody that you love. You know, Not to sound grim. It's not. To, I mean, not to sound grim. Not to sound dark. But it's a harsh reality, and this is coming from somebody who who didn't really lose too many people close to him, but just to lose enough people that's close to me, yeah, it stings, and it's going to be a lot more of that, unfortunately. So I think now is the time for understanding, for less reacting, listening, introspection, allowing wisdom to manifest, allowing other people to be our teachers. Getting game, getting info from multiple sources, admitting that you don't know all the answers. You know, um, it one thing that's actually very interesting, and I feel like I have to touch on this. Two athletes specifically that pops out to me that a lot of people close to them have deemed them as humble, but outwardly people have another perception of them. They're arrogant. They're this. They're that. So those two guys, Michael Jordan and Floyd Mayweather. So I'm not necessarily big fans of either one of them, and as far as Floyd, you say, oh, he's too flashy, he's too this, he's too materialistic, he's all these things, but that's an outward thing. I'm more so interested in the inward, and what I see is from the documentary is, just all the behind the scenes, the fights, the 24/7, those things. He relies on other people. He's made that known, and from what I can see, the people around him, his team benefits from playing that part. He lets the trainers do the training. They give him game. They give him perspective. Not once did I hear this man. Of course, everybody's going to stand up for themselves every once in a while, and call out their trainer, their authority, whatever, if they feel like something's not working, whatever. It's okay. But I don't think I've ever really seen him say, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going. He's going to do what's laid out for him. And Michael Jordan was the same way, he would take advice from bench players that he entrusted. Steve Kerr being one of them. And you know what happened with Steve Kerr? He ended up winning 4 championships, I believe, or 3. And he's not finished, I don't think. He's definitely still in the game. So humility to take advice from people who haven't quite made it as far as you, but it resonates. It's something practical, something that's worth trying, and even if it fails, it doesn't really do you in. Just things like that. Understanding that you don't know all the answers, and of course, because this is a recap right now, I'm finishing it off. But of course, just don't mock others, for your situation could soon mirror theirs. And also, don't envy others who are doing better than you, because guess what? Same thing. Your situation can mirror theirs. Alright? So, speaking of mirror, just focus on the man or woman in the mirror, and always strive to be honest. Even if you like wearing all white after Labor Day, because that's a sin. Always be honest with yourself, and check in, and check yourself when you get too high and you look down on others. Never look down on others unless you're going to pull them up, as I've been told. Alright, but that's it, man. Much love.